Hello everyone, welcome back to my very big project today. For a 12 by 12 layout, this is a doozy. Now, I loved this paper we got in the kit from Kitaholic Kits this month. And my immediate reaction was that I want to stitch on this paper. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I don't have the energy to do that. So I was wondering, how can I create texture? Because it's very clearly screaming to have some texture. And how can I create that without stitching? Because I was just really not in the mood to do stitching, and I did stitching on my last layout, so I was just like, nah. And so I thought, let's explore. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing a combination of sticking down sequins, using my Nuvo drops. I'm using a Posca paint pen at some stage. I am doing punched out stars. I am just doing the whole shebang to try to get this all glittery and textury and lovely. Now, if you're going to copy this, here's a little tip that I have. The glue that I'm using is that really, really fine paint pen, or glue pen, sorry. And I really like it, but it gets very sticky as it dries. And so I would recommend adding all your glue dots and then going in and adding all of the sequins, because then they don't move around so much. I did use that gold pen to try to create some gold sprinkles on the little top layer above the rainbow, but you couldn't really see it, and then I smudged one, and so I thought instead I'm going to cut out a bunch of teeny tiny little stars using my star punch from some glitter cardstock, and I'm going to just sprinkle those in between the little top area, and that is what that looks like, and I really quite like that. It gets a bit more, it was subtle towards the beginning, and then as I go, it gets a bit more intense because I'm using bigger sequins, and I'm using a bit more, and they're obviously a bit closer together. So as I was trying to squeeze out my Nuvo drops here, it actually exploded. And so I thought, instead of wasting all of that beautiful goodies, I am just going to use a paintbrush and paint on these little arrows. And it actually worked out quite well. Sorry that it's a bit blurry, but you kind of get the idea. And then if you do this, definitely go and immediately wash your brush, because it will get gunky and you'll never be able to use it again. Then I used the white Nuvo drops for this next step, and I actually really don't like this. The white that I have is kind of just looks like undried glue, so it looks really good on a different background when it's got other bits and pieces with it, but I just didn't really love how that looks, but there's nothing I could really do about it, so I'm moving on. I decided to use a Posca paint pen, as you can see, to make the middle of the yellow a bit punchier, poppier, but again, I ultimately didn't love that, so you'll see how I go back and do that later. Now moving on to these sequins, and I've got the sequin mix that we got in a kit many months ago, maybe even years ago, and I'm adding all green sequins to the green part of the rainbow. And then I'm going and adding these yellowy green enamel dots that we got in the kit this month, and I'm going to add them to the yellow part to really kind of make add a bit more dimension and texture, which I really like, and it's much nicer than just having sort of a darker yellow stripe. This was my favorite. This was the gold Nuvo drops, and I sprinkled them right in those little scalloped edges, and I love how this looks. It's like very, especially on top of that green, I think they look really lovely. This is my little teeny tiny love heart punch, and so I've punched out a bunch of little hearts, and I'm sticking them on that light blue arch, and just to kind of look a bit interesting. I also added some glitter, although you can't really see it, and then I'm going in with my silver Nuvo drops to add some texture there. Last but not least, I'm going in with some star sequins on this bit, and they look very similar to the actual the color of that archway, so they create a bit of shine, but they blend in a bit, which I like as well, because there's some of these it's got a bit of contrast, and some of them don't. Some of them is more tone on tone. So I like how that looks, and it really creates a bit of interest and dimension. Last but not least, I'm going in with some of the gold, and then once that was dry, I matted my photos on some papers from the kit. Unfortunately, I lost that footage, sorry. The reason why I'm choosing these photos, by the way, is because my daughter is wearing a rainbow jumper in them, and I thought that's perfect to use on this rainbow thing. And this story is about the solar eclipse that we had in Perth in April, I believe. And so it's about the sky and the sun and light, and that's why rainbow made sense to me as well. So I'm using the title Happy Days, and I understand that it's kind of ironic that I'm using an entire sticker that says sunshine on my mind when the whole thing is about not having sunshine. But it had the sunglasses, and she's wearing the sunglasses in the photo. It's quite funny. She's actually wearing like 3 pairs of sunglasses in those photos. And she wasn't very impressed with the solar eclipse. She was like, it's actually just daytime. I don't understand this. But yeah, it was quite enjoyable still to tell the story. So I'm just creating a little cluster there because there was just that white space, and I was like, I don't like that. White space scares me, even though I need to learn to actually utilize and use white space more. But yeah, I just thought I would create a little sticker cluster there. I do actually replace one of them with another coloured sticker because it was, again, just too white for me. Now I'm adding my journaling there. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Now I'm adding my journaling, sticking on that coloured sticker that says you're the best. Oh, that was actually a piece from the die cut pack, I think, yeah. And once that is done, I believe I'm going to add the date, and then this layout is going to be complete. I disappeared there for a while. I don't know where I went. And yeah, so I'm adding the date. Now, there wasn't actually many places where I could stamp the date, And so, but I did find a little spot there on the side of the photo that was nice and flat. So that goes there. A quite easy layout if you don't consider the background. And then it is done. Thank you so much for joining me this week, everyone. I will see you all next week with another layout. Bye.